116th Hotline.
It's Sadie.
It's Valerie.
And this is Sutana. Welcome back to our podcast. If this is your first time here, hello. We are a trio of
sisters.
We would like to talk about anything and everything. And
Her ADHD is kicking in.
if this is not your first time here, hello, welcome back to our channel.
Welcome, darling.
Yes, welcome. And if this is not your first time, welcome back.
Welcome back. That's exactly what we say in the intro.
Welcome back.
I would
back.
also like to include that we all at Archive again this week.
We are at Archive, yes, recording our
Yes.
episodes.
Gorgeous place.
Thank you so much to Archive for sponsoring today's video.
Wow, speaking of British accent, come on, let's go.
Thank you so much, Archive. First of all, I'd like to kickstart this podcast episode talking about a little bit about love. You know,
Love. Never knew what I was missing, but I knew once we start kissing, I found you.
I swear to God, her voice was gone and it came back.
Oh my God.
Maybe
Hello?
you just need to sing more. Maybe you just need to sing more.
Yeah. So
So empty, my heart, my soul,
raspy.
can't go on.
cancel. Okay. So anyways,
Guys, this is the week of
Valentine.
love.
Anyway, so I would like
Coming
to
up
just
right around the corner.
kickstart this episode just talking about
Wait,
love.
Can
Talking
I
about,
can I ask you guys each a question?
Yeah, sure. Let's
about love.
Okay, hold on. Okay, so kickstarting this episode. Kickstarting this episode talking about love because it's going to be around Valentine's Day.
Yes, it was a
request too about dating now these days, love, relationship. You know, we're just going to take a deep dive about that. I think that kind of just
Dabble.
We're just going to take a dive. So I guess I'll be kickstarting this episode because I just love love.
Yeah.
She sure do.
No, she loves the idea of love. Oh,
Period. So go ahead, Sienna. What questions are you going to ask?
So, I wanted to ask you guys, how do you guys describe love?
I'm cringing right now because I'm not like I
know,
y'all know me.
but okay, come on,
yes.
do it for the plot.
Let me try to get myself into the mood.
Okay,
you go.
love is something that's unconditional.
Ooh.
Love has to have loyalty.
I was just gonna say
'Cause-
that.
Ooh.
Because you could love somebody but still stab them in the back.
Ooh.
21 Savage.
Ooh.
Okay, period.
Well, that's it.
No, and I don't know, I think love is very different for each person. So my thoughts and definition of love can look, and I know does look, very different from these two girls.
Period.
So I think love is very individualized. Love is loyalty. Love is trust. Love is unconditional. Love is friendship. There's different forms of love. I don't know. That's a very deep question. So that's just.
I know, but just your.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah, that's my
that.
thoughts on it. Just.
Okay.
I think, in my opinion, love is and I'm speaking this just in general, not in a intimate relationship, romantic or friendship or anything anything in general. Love for me, my definition of love is pretty much. I know it sounds so cringy. What's the word called? Cliche, but literally giving the clothes off of your back to someone, like that type of deal, right? Like you don't even have enough, but then you're still giving it to giving it to someone and expect nothing in return because that's what you want to do.
Doing something because you want to do it.
I
Because
like
you wanna
that.
do it,
Expect nothing in return.
In return.
Isn't that what unconditional
but
means?
not just that, I think so. But then if to put it in like a better
in terms,
you know.
explanation.
But then not just like giving anything and not expecting anything in return. It's so much more of, let's say you only have like 2 pennies left and that's like the only food that you have to give for your food, but instead you're giving it to somebody else.
Yeah.
You know, like being selfless, I feel like, in a sense, because you love that person so much.
Them, yeah.
Bro, your hair has gotten so long. I just noticed that.
I know it has.
Her hair grows so fast.
Must
be nice.
So, because I feel like I've experienced that from like my parents, my friends, my lover, right? So
Yeah.
So here's an example with Brian and I, like, so we would go, we had something.
Shout out to Brian.
Shout out to Brian. I'm just putting this as an example.
BWJ.
BWDJ.
Oh,
BWDJ.
No, BDW.
BDWJ.
Okay. We're not gonna say his full name on. But we ordered something from Zaxby's, right? And I was eating my food, and I didn't really like it. And he noticed it. He's like, "Do you want to have some of mine?" I'm like, "No, it's okay." He's like, "Have some of mine," and because he could tell that I wanted that instead of my food. So that's an example of like, that's love right there. Even though he was hungry too and he wanted to eat his food, he was willing to give that to me because he could tell that I didn't really like my food. So that's just a quick little funny example.
He's like doing it because he loves you and he notices that. Yeah,
I love that.
And then I've had a lot of those from obviously my parents and grandparents too. Like those are the truest form of love I've ever experienced growing up. You know, so what's yours?
Yeah, let's turn it around on you.
Yeah.
Love is, for me, love is being able to be 100% yourself and somebody accepting that.
Oh, yeah.
That to me is love.
Ooh.
That's just the first thing that comes up in my mind.
Like not having to worry about, I can't be my true authentic self and just really being yourself.
Ooh, yes.
Ooh, I can't even imagine like being in a relationship where you couldn't be yourself.
It must be tiring to be fake. It
must be tiring because I couldn't imagine not being myself because I'm freaking loud.
That's unfortunate to be in a relationship or just to be like that with anybody around
like friendship,
you.
like romantic, like
parents.
I'm me because I know me myself. Like I know I'm loud and annoying, so I couldn't even imagine not being able to be loud and annoying like myself because
like
of
having
somebody
to hold
else.
that in.
Yeah,
you're probably gonna like.
I would probably I would be like twitching. I would be like twitching. Like,
I want to be loud and crazy. And funny right now.
She's gonna come out.
She's gonna blow.
Give me an example of the first time that you experienced the love that you've never before. Whether if it's been like for anybody, anyone. I kind of feel like I want to answer this for y'all, but I don't because I want to see what y'all gonna say.
I think for me, I don't. You know, whenever you like get out of a relationship, you think about like, was that even really love? You know, because in the moment you think about it like, yeah, you're in love, like you love this person so much. But then after you get out of a relationship, you think like, did I was that even really love? Because like. Because then when you think about it, you're like, was that love or was I just Delulu?
Yeah,
you know?
Delulu.
Absolutely Delulu.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think for me, in my past relationships, I think that it was love, but looking back, I know it wasn't love. And that's very sad to think about because nobody wants to think that you weren't in love. You know, when you're in a relationship with somebody, you want to think like, yes, I love them and this is true love.
And
but
we were in love.
Yeah. But looking back, like I don't think it was love, and I can say that proudly now, looking back. And honestly, I don't think that I have experienced real love yet, me personally. And I'm talking about romantic wise, because I know like when in my friendships, like I know there's love there. Like in friendships, I know I have experienced real friendship love. Like I know that. But romantically, I know deep down inside that I have not ever experienced it yet. Like I think I've experienced lust, and I've experienced like the, what is it?
Maybe like the idea of what love would be. Yeah,
the idea of love. But I know like deep down, I have not experienced like true authentic love.
Yeah,
because I know that love is supposed to be like easy and simple, and you're just supposed to get each other, and it should not be hard.
It comes naturally.
Yeah, and it comes naturally. And like whether I have thought I've experienced or not, I know I haven't, because I would like in the moment I would tell myself like, oh yeah, this is love, but I know it's not love, you know.
Yeah.
So I honestly have never experienced it, I think, and I think I'm afraid to experience it just because I don't know what it's like to truly experience it.
Because
it's gonna be something new. Like
it's new, and it might. And you know how we talked about how like if it's something that you've never tried or had before, then it's going to be slightly uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
And I can speak on that 100% because, like I said, like you said, in my past relationship, I thought it was love, but now that I've grown up, I'm like, whoa, that was definitely not love. Yeah. I'm like, I was actually sick of myself thinking about it. I was like, ew. I was like, I thought I was in love. What in the world? But then now that I have experienced it currently, it is beautiful. And I'm not gonna lie, it was uncomfortable at first because y'all know me best. Y'all know me. I'm not a sentimental person. I'm not affectionate like that at all. Right? I just grew up that way. I don't know why. But yeah, but now I have really this love that I have now shout outs to my man. I have really opened up into like a soft girl era. I'm like more like you said, I was telling you, I really want to be more feminine this year and be in tune with my feminine side. So I'm like, wow, like this is something I've never really experienced before. So but then it's not in a sense where I want to do it just to do it, you know, where I feel obligated to. I internally inside feel like, wow, like this feminine part of me is coming out because Brian's pulling that out of me. You know what I mean? So I think it's such a beautiful. I know it's such a beautiful thing.
It's a different era.
It is a different era. So I'm like, that's what love should be. Like it should come out naturally from you. That person should like be able to, you know, send off that energy to you naturally, and that energy should come out naturally rather than you feeling like you have to make it happen. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to be romantic.
Yeah, I don't know. Type of love for sure is my friendships. Like friendships, I have so many types of experience with that. Like Sutiana and Sadie, like they have shown me so much love in different forms and types. And not even that, but like my other friends like Evan and Gabby and Sydney, like they all really truly support me and love me. I don't know, there's like countless of times, and like Nikki, Shelby, and Anna, like I think I'm just so loved all around, like friendship wise, that I feel like because I have that, I feel like sometimes I feel like I'm not as what's that word? I don't appreciate it as much, and I don't appreciate it as much, and so I tend to like overlook the love that I have through friendships. I don't even know. I can't even tell you a specific time, just because there's so many times that you know my friendships have given me so much love. So I couldn't even really tell you.
I love that. Sutiana?
As Valerie is talking about that, and as you were talking, Sadie, I was just thinking two things. First one would be experiencing the type of love, obviously, with my partner, my husband. I think it took us a long time. I think we were in a very long time just being in the idea of being in love with each other. But then I think after, you know, being in a marriage for so long and really working on ourselves individually and then coming together again, like after working on ourselves, I think we are really now are at a point where we truly are in love with each other. And like Valerie said, it is effortless, and it is so easygoing. And it's when you don't have to worry about being a partner, because it just happens naturally. Like you know that you love someone when you literally you don't have to worry about it.
You don't question it.
Like you're just doing it. Like it just comes
like
naturally.
it's not toxic. It's not you wanting to argue. It's just being in that state with that person. And then second for me, as Valerie was talking about that, I was thinking the first time I experienced a different type of love was when I had my kids. It's a different type of love than loving a partner, right? Because when you're loving a partner, it's like you nurture it and you do that together, and then it comes out beautiful in the end. But having a child and loving a child is just so different. It's literally an extension of your limbs. A love for a child that is your own, literally, or a child blood. In general, it's just
I can't wait.
It just very like full circle moment. Like if you guys know me, you know that my kids are my life, and like they're freaking annoying sometimes, and like you know they do things that kids do, but it's like they're, you know, kids. I know love because I have my kids. I know love because I have my husband. Like that to me is the definition of love.
Well, sorry, just to dabble in on that, because I mean I was looking for that answer because, like I said and I mentioned earlier, my first very truest form of love in general was through my parents, right? Like growing up, like my parents showing me the love, like that was my first form of love before the whole romantic, before the friendship thing, right? I hear a lot of people saying that, you know, when you first see your child for the first time, it's like love at first sight. Like it's a little, it's very like literally.
It's a feeling that you cannot put into words.
Okay, and then I've heard that, and I'm like, I cannot wait for that.
Honestly, my like labor and delivery was very traumatic. So I can't touch on that because I didn't have that moment of like, oh my god, my kid, like because I was so
she was out of it.
I was so like passed out because I was so tired and exhausted. I don't even remember both of them, which is very unfortunate. But
I think going back to what you said, Sadie, like a child's first experience with love is with their parents, which is so true.
Yeah, that is true.
But when I think about me and Val in our childhood, and I'm just like,
So
It's very
I
different.
can't-
Yeah.
It's different.
I can't
Let me-
fucking relate.
That's true.
I mean, obviously, that's why we both have different perspectives.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I mean, that I think how you get treated as a child with your expectation of love, it definitely does make a huge effect on what you think love is when you're growing up.
Ooh,
I think for
that's
me, like,
very true.
I think for me, with a lot of like our childhood trauma shit, like that made me look for love in the wrong places. I was a certified 7-time platinum certified.
Gosh, she sure was. I didn't really think about it like that. The way Sadie said that her first form of love is through her parents. Now that she said that, and I'm thinking about it, I'm like, dang, that's actually really true. But for me, when I think about love, like I don't think that's not the first thing I think about. I just think about like romantic. Yeah.
And see, so why is that?
Well, I was just gonna say, is it because you want to look for that? Like, I mean,
No, I think it's because like growing up, for me, I don't know about Satiana, but growing up, I didn't see love like that, like through our parents. Like
Absolutely
I didn't see love. All I knew about love was boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband and wife.
Like, you
I
see
didn't
it
even
and,
know
like-
about I didn't even think about the idea of like friendship love. Not until I was an adult, honestly.
And like honestly, seeing our dad beat our mom, like
Yeah.
when we were younger, like that's literally what that's
Ingrained.
love.
Yeah.
That-
And I think
that
we
was
were,
that was
love.
Zal's idea.
we were around not that great of an ideal adult love. Like every adult romantic relationship we
Was
saw,
like
it was
that.
not a good it was not a good one to be around as kids, to know that this is love.
Like an example.
Like an example.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were around bad examples of love.
Well, okay, yes, that, but then because I mean, I'm not saying that my parents are perfect and they were
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
the
yeah,
perfect
yeah.
couple
Yeah.
towards each other, but then I meant the love as in like your individual, like mom or dad gave to
Yeah,
you.
well,
Did
that's
you guys
no. For me, I personally did not have that, just because
Oh, okay.
we had very traumatic childhood
Yeah.
experiences growing up, and I honestly didn't. Like I said, I don't think about love as a form of my parents giving me love. Like I don't really feel like I had that. Like I just felt like, oh, those are my parents.
Okay. Ooh,
You know?
that's valid, and that's
Like,
I mean,
like I'm not saying our parents were shitty, but
Yeah.
I didn't think about it. Like I just think about, oh, that's my mom and dad. I didn't think about like, oh, my mom and dad love me so much. Like this is love. I just think about, that's my mom and dad.
So let me ask you a question, because you two have those type of experiences with your parents growing up of not necessarily viewing it in like a true form of love. With being a parent yourself now, do you feel like you want to be different from that with your own kids?
Yeah, for sure. I think me and Sienna both have said many times that like we're afraid that we're gonna go the same route as our parents, or we're afraid that we're gonna inflict the same trauma onto our kids that we've got inflicted onto us. But I think saying that, like, just having that thought and the idea that we're already well aware that we don't want that, like that makes us already like better parents in a sense, where we don't want our kids to have to go through those traumas.
Yeah, I think it, and like just for an example, like yesterday, I was very upset at Oliver because he didn't brush his teeth in the morning, and I was like trying to, we're rushing like always in the morning and trying to get him to hurry up to go to school, and I was frustrated at him, and I was like, just get in the car, like we're gonna be late. And after I came home, I actually apologized to him, and I was like, I'm sorry for being upset at you this morning, and like gave him a hug and everything. And I think just little things like that is also showing your child different types of love, like because you're not wanting to repeat the same
history,
traumas. And I think even though we make mistakes now in our current love lives, or with our childs or whatever, I think as long as we're able to be aware and change those things, then we can always go back and try to fix that, so that that our experiences with love also are changing and evolving as our children are experiencing those, because we don't want them to have a bad picture of what love should be like, or how when someone cares about you that they should be yelling at you or doing these things.
And what you just said about different types and forms of love as well, and like what you just said, that when you went back to apologize to him, that's a form of love. You're like you're acknowledging that, oh, you're sorry. Like that's love in my opinion, in my eyes. And my parents, and growing up, like I said, I experienced love through them, not as in like I see them being a lovey-dovey couple, or like even lovey-dovey towards us, right? Because they weren't really, my parents weren't also as affectionate or what's the word, affectionate or sentimental, right? So I remember a quick little story when we were kids, and my best friend in elementary. Her dad would walk her to school every day, and they would say bye, and she would kiss her dad on the cheek. And I'm like, that's, I mean, and she's Hmong, you know, and a lot of Hmong people are not necessarily like that anyway. So I was like, that's cute. I was like, and they're just so lovey-dovey with each other, father and daughter. I'm like, and he's like an older man too. He was so sweet. And so one day, my mom dropped me off.
No.
So you tried kissing your mom on the cheek?
Well, so I did it because because as a kid, you see, you do, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, she loves her dad so much. I was like, let me give that. My mom was dropping off. Mom was like, okay, bye. I was like, bye. I turned in and gave her a kiss on the cheek, and she literally gave me the look like, what the heck? And then I felt so weird, so awkward afterwards.
You're like, this is not us.
I'm like, why am I doing this? But then, I mean, I'm glad that I gave it a try. So now I know that that's not me, you know, like naturally. Yeah. It was so weird. But then I think that was just a funny little story I had to include in there. But then now, I like forms of love. I felt like, you know, growing up that I can see it now that was a form of love is, like, again, the whole food thing. Like my dad, like they know that whenever we eat like boiled chicken, the dry boiled chicken,
she gives you the drumstick.
Yeah. Yes. My dad,
chicken thigh.
The drumstick and the thigh. Like my dad, because I've always grown up liking that. So every single time we eat, my dad, y'all know my dad, he's not the most talkative person in person, but then you know, inside, and he's not crazy like that too on the inside, unless, you know, we have a topic we're talking about. But every single time we go and eat at the table, he always makes sure he gets the thigh for me, and he puts it on my plate. I'm like, as the little kid, I'm like, oh, thanks. I was like, okay. But now as I'm a grown up person, he did that the other day too, and I was like, thanks, Dad. I was like, yeah, my dad loves me. And so it's just so weird, like different types and forms of love that now you've grown up and you look at it, you're like, yeah, that's love, even if they don't say or verbally
say, I love you
type of situation, you know. And like, and not just with parents, but then like your kids, like what you just did, that example. And like with your friends, like, okay, like, you know, make sure you have your seatbelt on. That's a form of love. I remember seeing something that's like a sign of form of love, because they want to make sure you're safe in general and they love you, you know what I mean? So because like you said, when I was little, growing up, thinking about the word love, I've always thought it was a romantic one. Like you said,
like all you think about was like boyfriend, girlfriend.
Yeah. That was like the first idea that we would think of. But then now, as an adult, there's many types of forms of love.
Now that you're saying that, I think about me and Gabby, Evan, and Sydney. We share each other's location because we want to make sure everybody's safe.
There you go. That too, you know. So I think like a lot of people, sometimes they perceive love as like it has to be romantic, but in general, if you've got these little small things, you've got your kids, your family that shows you unconditional love, you're set. Yeah. You're set. The romantic one will come whenever, you know, it's time.
Whenever it's time. Yep. Yes, it sure will.
I think, you know, as you grow up, you start to learn
and appreciate
that there are different types of love.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, you know, I think obviously when we all think about love and I think when I was single, especially, that's the only thing my mind was drawn to was a romantic, because it's like that's the thing you're always looking for.
That's me right now.
It's like you're always looking for that, but then you have to remember to take a step back and be thankful about
the love that you already have.
Yeah, all the love you already have, and it's. I think as you get older too, you start to when you start to attend more funerals is when you start to realize, like, man, I really have to be aware and conscious about my surroundings and the people I love, because I already have so much love, and I can go at any moment, at any time, and all these people that are in my life already, they love me so much, and it's not a thing that you could put a price on. It's not a thing that you can describe in one way. Love can be so many different types of things. And I think for people that grew up like Sadie, like maybe her parents weren't very affectionate and you know, obviously that's why she isn't either, but then you have people like me and Val that went through traumatic stuff and then are trying to figure out, okay, well, what is healthy love then? What is a healthy relationship? And I think those type of things mold you into such a grown human being and adult that there's such beauty in love that it can mean so many different things for different people. That it's just like as long as you have that one thing or that one meaning of love, then you always remember that you're okay. You know, that your life is worth something.
It's so crazy because I don't know, have you guys ever seen this movie? You need to, because on your days off when you have a lot of time just to spare, you need to watch the movie Interstellar.
Oh my, I've always wanted to watch it.
I watched that before. The one
might have.
He goes into space and then it comes back and then he's the one in the bookshelf.
Yes.
Okay,
do you understand the concept? Yeah, exactly. You need to watch it again. You need to watch it with Dan.
I've seen a lot of bits and pieces, but I need to sit down and just watch
like,
it.
You just need to be thankful where you're at right now.
No, okay. Well, the concept of it's a scientific movie,
it's
right?
like it all circles around.
It is confusing.
Okay, but don't give us like the meat of it. Just give us like a general.
Well, okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna give you the meat of it because you have to experience the movie yourself and be like.
It's a full circle type of movie.
Yes, kind of. But one of the main message behind that is because pretty much they travel through space and time, right? In different dimensions, right?
Yeah, and they say that something is like X amount of years.
Yeah. So like in a different planet or dimension where like
1 year is like 10 years.
2 minutes there is like 7 years in Earth. Oh, this is the most beautiful movie I've ever seen. But anyway, so they travel through space and time, and then at the end of it, pretty much it comes back. The only way you can connect with people through space and time and all that, even though it's different, is love. And I was like, I'm gonna cry right now.
Because the daughter knew.
The daughter knew because the daughter loved the death. I'm about to cry thinking about it because it's so beautiful. But the daughter figured out the whole situation because of the love that she has so much for him and him for her, that they found each other through all the space in different dimensions and time. So that movie
they connected
phenomenal and beautiful, and they pretty much end up saving the world because of blah 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 blah. But I like these type of movies because it makes you think and it makes you appreciate the philosophy and all that crap about it, right? So that's why I'm like, it's
very confusing to watch.
If you're a person that don't really like you don't really like to read into like the world and universe and stuff like that, and just really pay attention to it, like then it might not be the movie for you. But if you do, then you will appreciate the movie.
I would say you
so
probably
much.
have to watch it a couple times to actually like
understand it.
It is a very complex movie, but I think it's a good movie.
I love complex movies though because it makes me think and it makes me really like those are the type of movies that after I'm done, I think about it for days because I go down a rabbit hole, just like the movie we were talking about.
Yeah.
It's like, but the reason why I'm bringing that up is because love is pretty much in that movie. The message is like love is like the main thing that can travel through space and time no matter wherever you are and at.
And it'll bring everything back together.
So like you said earlier, for funerals and stuff like that, right? Like people who have passed, you will always remember them because the love that you have for them.
Oh my God.
Damn, right? Because like you will never forget them because of the love.
That is so.
Thank you.
That is so
deep.
true.
Isn't that crazy? So that's an example of the movie. Like love will travel through space and time in different dimensions, no matter what, because love is so strong. Ugh, I love it. It's just freaking. I love love.
That
too.
is so true. I've never thought about it like
Right.
that. That is so true, though.
Isn't that crazy? Yes.
Love is such a
complex.
I think as I gotten older, my definition has definitely evolved with it.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
I agree.
I used to think love is only about what people can physically do for you.
Physical. That's true.
When I'm talking about a freak between the sheets, I was talking about if he could put it down and he loved me.
And that's all childhood trauma.
Stop.
No, seriously, because for me, like my love language is physical touch. Like,
baby, we know.
Like I have to, because like I don't know. I just feel like I have to have like a person. Like I don't know, the physical touch part of me. I know it stems down to like the childhood trauma of me.
Yeah, but you know what? Guys are fools. They know that.
Yeah.
So they're like, all right,
they'll use that.
These little tricks.
Yeah, they like she a little broken.
But then I think some of them are like some men. They're also like that too. They think that their love is a physical form.
Yes,
you know? They think,
right?
I would say mine is physical touch and acts of service. What would you say yours is, Sutiana?
Mine is definitely acts of service because it really makes me happy when Danny does things without me asking.
Like kind of go
like when I was sick and he cooked food for me and put on relaxing music.
You were so happy.
I was literally like, oh my God,
I love this man.
Loves me.
Wait, acts of service as in like you are doing it or the other people?
He does it.
Do it for you.
Like he goes out of his way to do things for you without being
my
asked.
love language, I think, is not acts of service. Like for me, doing it for other people, I like doing the like giving gifts.
I was gonna say that.
Like
yeah.
gifts
giving
is my thing.
My love language is definitely gift giving too, because I feel like
I could see that.
I don't know. I feel
you
like
are good at that.
Yeah, I feel like I really think about the thoughts behind of what I'm going to give people because I know it's going to make their day. So mine is definitely that in quality time. Quality time is definitely like, I'm not much of a physical person, obviously, because I'm not affectionate, sentimental, but I'm trying to get a little bit into that because I heard somewhere and I saw somewhere where, so this is talking about romantic relationship, by the way. Whatever your partner's love language is, try to also adapt to that as well, rather than just like, what is it? Like disqualifying it, I guess, in a way, because in the beginning I was kind of like that. I'm like, I really turned away from it because I'm not a physical person. But then that is part of Brian's love language. He's very physical. He's very physical as well. And I was, like I said, uncomfortable, right? It comes back to the whole uncomfortableness. But then now I'm trying to open up and trying to match that. And I mean, it's becoming more easy.
You know why? It's because you love him and you know that that's his.
So you want to.
So then you want to do that for him because you know that that's what he values and that he like goes
I
towards.
love that for you.
Thank you.
Being very open-minded. And
Yes.
yeah, I love that.
And it's hard, I think, when you're in love or in trying to train yourself for love. Like it takes work.
Yes.
Whether it be romantic or friendship wise or even with your children. I think any relationship with love takes a lot of work and effort.
Yes, effort.
The effort.
For sure.
I think if there's not double effort, like going both ways, there's no point.
It's not gonna.
Yeah, it has to go both ways for sure. Not even in romantic, but like friendship.
Yeah.
Too. Like
Yes.
like it, because when it's not both ways, when it's just one way, someone's gonna feel drained, and someone's gonna feel like their cup is not getting filled the same way they're filling other people's cups.
You can find a lot of information on the friendship thing from our previous episodes.
Yes.
Shameless plug.
Right. Go back on our previous episodes and refer to that.
Well, enough of the deep, cutesy, all that stuff. Okay, what about? I know that some people also asked about casual dating. Blah 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 blah. I mean,
Okay, so Tiana, we went to brunch the other day, and it so happened that our waiter was actually somebody that was in my DMs and like trying to take
did
me
he
out.
recognize you?
I'm pretty sure he did.
I think he did. Like, come on. I kept saying, Val.
Yeah,
Val.
I'm pretty sure he did. I'm pretty sure he recognized me, and he followed me on Instagram and DM'd me, and he had like been asking me to take me out on dates and stuff, but I've just kind of been like ignoring him, and I just like, oh no, like I can't, you know. And it was so weird that I was like, wait, I was like, I think that's the guy.
I was like, he's ugly.
Like
No,
you
because
recognized him?
on like in pictures I was like, but then in real life he was very good looking.
He was attractive.
And he had a nice deep voice, and he's tall. He
looks
like
like a
me
little-
talking about physical
She
qualities.
made him double check on his profile.
I
She's
literally
like,
went back.
I was like, wow.
I went back to his profile, and
That's
I was like,
shallow.
I was like, no, this is him. But it's just because, you know, at that time I was talking to somebody, so I wasn't like going on dates and stuff. But whenever that happened, I remember Sutana was like, dating is so hard these days. It must be so hard for you guys.
I was gonna say, let's
Literally.
get your
Yeah.
opinion
Oh,
and
because,
thoughts on it because you're currently single.
because
because her and Sammy were talking about dating apps.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, yeah.
Because I was like, maybe on Hinge is
I was
when
like, I
saw
don't
him.
remember. I was like, I don't remember if I met
Which
him
one you met him on?
Yeah, I was like, I don't remember if I met him on Hinge or if he like DM'd me. I was
And
like trying
then
to figure it out.
her comment about him looking different in person than on the profile.
Yes.
And she's like, and it just made me think like, damn, dating in this day and age through apps, I can only like thankful that I got with my man when I did, because it was like in person stuff. It wasn't no like left,
like just
right.
I was
left,
gonna ask
like-
you that. Okay, but before we get to our, because obviously we're both now in happy relationships,
Yes.
so I want to get the single person's point of view first. Okay, I continue.
I think, okay, for me personally, okay, I downloaded Hinge just out of shits and giggles because I was bored and I like
for
to
fun?
like for fun, yeah.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say I'm much of a dating app person because I really only take that shit like for fun, because I mean, who's really gonna meet their love of their life on dating?
You know,
I don't know.
You'd be surprised.
I mean, you never know. You
You'd
never
be
know. But like
surprised.
that's just my take on dating apps. But for me personally, I feel like I have to meet the person in person to vibe. Like that's why I'm so scared. That's why I honestly have never gone on a date with somebody I've met online ever.
It's
because
so scary,
because
bro.
I'm
You haven't
scared
heard the
to.
stories?
Yes, I know.
Not only because I'm scared to, but I'm afraid like what if it just doesn't vibe and then I'm just sitting there freaking
waste of time.
Yeah, and so that's
Yeah.
why like I have never gone on a date with someone I've met online because I'm scared that it's not gonna go the right way. But it's like, how am I gonna know if I don't ever do it?
Exactly.
But then
I
also
was gonna say
I'm
that.
just
Yeah.
scared to do it too, because now like with the new year and everything, I'm just thinking like I don't really think I'm ready for dating. Like I really don't think I'm ready for dating, and like I'm thinking like what happens if I do become ready for dating? Am I the best version of myself to be a best partner? No, I'm really not.
Okay, awareness.
Like I've been thinking about that
Alright.
a lot lately.
Stick to it.
I've been thinking that about a lot.
This bitch.
No, but
No,
that's
because
good.
for real, like I've been thinking like what happens like if I do find somebody and like we do date, am I the best person of myself to bring to the table? I don't think I am.
Let me tell you something on that. Okay, can I speak on that?
Yeah.
That's a very, very good way to like prepare yourself, or just to think
Yeah.
about. I'm gonna be completely 100% honest with like just to relate to that.
Yeah.
Whenever I started dating Brian, I wasn't. I was not fully ready, the fully potential person to be in a committed relationship. And he knows this too. So, I mean, I don't think he's going to mind me speaking on it, but I wasn't. And that's the reason why when we first started dating, I mean, I thought I was, but I wasn't. But then that's why in the very beginning, we kind of had like a little rough patch. I had to like, take back for a little bit. And then, and I, like I said, again, in the past, I really, really appreciate him. He understood that I spoke my feelings. He understood that, and he gave me the space for it.
Love that.
So that way I can like really work on myself and to, make sure I'm fully prepared, and slowly, and until this day, I'm still working a little bit, I mean, I'm almost there. So I really, really appreciate that. So sometimes when you're thinking about in the dating world, you don't necessarily have to make sure you're 100% and you're ready to like take on first. Sometimes it's okay if you are not quite there yet. You just have to find the right person to make sure that he allows you to work on, to be okay and to work with you.
Wow.
And or to support you in that. And maybe, who knows, maybe also grow with you.
Yeah, that's
in his,
true.
his whole way.
I feel like this kind of circle back to what Sutiana was saying, how like you both as individuals have to be okay first before you can come together to build and grow. Because like I said, lately I've been reflecting, and I know I am not my best version to even be in a relationship. I know that
I love that awareness.
Yeah, I know that I'm not relationship ready. Like I know that I cannot.
You want to be so
I want
bad.
to be. Yeah. No, I want to be.
Right.
You want to be, but I'm glad that you are aware.
I want to be because I think that's all I've known. Like I said, because I've been in a relationship for 10 years now. And I think that's all I've known. So I want to be, but I know deep down inside I am not ready. And I don't want to give a version of myself that's not ready to be to somebody. Like, why would I deliver 50% Val? I want to deliver an 100% Val to somebody, because if not, that's not fair to that person that I'm not 100% like relationship ready or like committed ready. Because me, commitment issues.
Yeah, you do.
But that is true too. I really, really do respect that, because whenever I started that relationship with Brian, I wasn't 100%, right? And I did feel horrible.
Yeah, because you feel bad. You feel guilty.
I felt guilty. I felt horrible. But I mean, hey, he stuck around.
He sure did. BDWJ.
my future hubby. So,
but yeah, casual dating these days is freaking hard.
It's hard. I was gonna say, now that you spoke, I was gonna ask you, like nowadays there's like Sutiana said, it's within like a fingertips, right? You can just swipe left, swipe right.
Yes.
You look at their profile. They have videos now. They have voice audio shit now.
I know.
It's crazy. I feel like in a way, and I know you feel so like cringy about it, and I do too, a little bit here and there, but at the same time, back then we didn't really necessarily have that other than just like Facebook, right?
Yes.
So I don't remember doing a whole lot of casual dating. I feel like the only type of dating I did, it was through those like Facebook or whatever, and then like we would meet in person and we would just go on little dates here and there, and that was like the most I ever did whenever I was like single right before I got with Brian. But
I think that Sutiana's opinion on casual dating is like on profiles and blah 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 and internet, but it's like dating back then and dating now is so different, and it's just so more accessible to meet people on the phone or like through online, because the internet, I feel like the internet has changed the world in so many different aspects.
100%.
And so like especially with dating too, like how else were you expecting to meet somebody in California? Like how would you ever have met them, So it's like, unless you're just like in a freaking rom-com and you just so happen to bump to each other on the streets, and meet like,
in our case, you bump into people in the club,
in the club, but
red flag, first of all.
So I feel like the internet has just changed things for dating too.
I see it like, and like I said, back to I know Satiana's making faces. She's like, oh, cringy, and I see that, I understand that, but then like I see the pros of it. There's pros and cons, right?
Yeah.
But in my opinion, almost a little bit more pro than cons. Like, and that's why I
feel like the sea is just bigger with the internet.
Yeah, and that's
more
why
fishes.
That's why with you being single and you're doing that, I'm like I support that. I was like, yeah, explore, girl, while you can. I mean, it's on the finger and the tip of your fingertips. However, I mean, don't rely solely on it. That's why whenever you like, if you meet them through there, that's fine. Get to know each other a little bit, and then meet each other in person, and then and then you can determine your judgment from there to see if, okay, is this gonna work out? Is this not going to? Because you'd be surprised of how many couples have actually met through online and have a life together.
Or slid into DMs
and actually have a life together now.
You know how there's so many people that are like happily married or happily like together now, where they're always just or they're always just like, you just have to answer that guy in your DMs. And then me, I'm like, well, which one? Like,
well, Brian actually slid into my DMs too. So that's how we are in a relationship now. But
period.
In Sutiana's case, that's like a rare thing where they actually met
the way how
like
you
in
met
person.
Danny, you guys. You never. So that's how
They
you guys
met in
right?
person. She was trying to
first?
sell him life insurance.
No, you weren't.
Yeah.
I
I
was
thought that
trying
you
to-
first met him at a Cow and Choose party when I went with you.
No.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
They introduced you. They
It
introduced
wasn't
Danny.
Cow and Chew's birthday. It was Nene Bear's birthday.
But
Remember?
It was Choose party though.
But it was at Chew's house. But I don't. I told Danny I don't remember that.
I
No,
don't
you
think I
didn't
was
go.
here.
You didn't
weren't
go.
there. You were at
You guys
Chew's
had
house.
at the whole old
You were
house.
living in
you guys,
Minnesota.
you
we
guys
lived
just
in
moved away,
Minnesota already.
and that was the first time I hung out with Sadie. I think just on her own, and they had a house party there, and
Everyone was doing house party there is because nobody lived there but
Yeah.
Oh,
and,
that's right. Your
and-
old house, literally.
Yes, and Danny was actually with LOooOoVeeEee Bear and them, and that was the first time that we met them. But I don't remember like actually meeting him. I remember LOooOoVeeEee Bear and them, but I don't remember him. But he said he was there that night.
I remember because I remember specifically you and I walked in and then it was in the hallway. It was either Lou or Chu. I think it was Lou. I don't know. That introduced you to them. And then Danny, oh my God, it was so little. I remember he's like, this is Danny's Tana. And then y'all shook hands. But then, I mean, I didn't really think anything of it.
I know, I was
I
like-
remember, I think he had, correct me if I'm wrong, Danny.
Probably a red cap on.
Uh-huh, it was a cap. I swear he had a cap, little skinny gangster guy, and he like shook your hand and shook my hand, and then y'all were kind of talking a little bit, and then he walked away. I remember this specifically in my mind because I remember that was
Core
the very
memory.
first time y'all like we met him in person, and then I don't know what happened after that. I think he probably
After that, then
reached out to you or what?
No, we didn't. Well, he did. He messaged me on Instagram, on Facebook, but I never. I was just like, okay, is that weirdo from? I was like, is that weirdo from?
No, if you like that.
Chew's house, and I'm like,
So he
that's
did
weird.
slid in your DMs.
He
too.
did, but I
Yeah.
never replied.
Yeah.
I never replied, and then I just totally forgot about him. And then when I went to go sell life insurance, I didn't connect the two. That
Oh, you didn't connect that.
yeah,
He was that.
yes,
Really?
yes. And then I mean, love, it was
And
love at
now
first sight.
The
Wait,
rest
how-
is history. The rest.
I
is
literally
history.
went in there and was like, "All right, guys, you guys need life insurance
Wait,
because
like when and
XYZ."
at their duplex.
Went after they lived in a duplex in Tulsa.
But who went with you, and how did you
It
know
was
about
just
them?
her.
It was just me because my parents. So in the duplex, our Hain cousins lived on one side, and it was
they
my
were-
mom's family. And so next door in the duplex, it was Danny and his
Oh,
brothers.
okay.
And so they're like, "Hey, if you guys are trying to sell life insurance,
Go to
we
the
have
small
neighbors."
kids, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, "Ooh, like that's my demographic. I'm trying to get the youngins, you know." So I'm like, "All right, let me go handle this." So I was like, "All right, I'm making an appointment. I'm gonna come over tomorrow and like have a little meeting with you guys about life insurance." And so I go over and literally like him and his brothers are all shirtless.
It was like a trap house. They had the hookah
Bro,
set
it
up.
was literally
Not the trap house, not the monk trap house. I'm
It was
dead.
literally a trap house. They had like hookahs all over the table.
Grey Goose bottles.
Grey Goose
Now you're
bottles.
exposing them.
They had a ping
We
pong
love y'all.
table there, and he's like, open the door with the hookah in hand, like, come on in. And I'm like, okay. I'm like,
You said they were shirtless?
they were all
That is
shirtless.
so them, bro.
I was the only girl, and I was like sitting on the kitchen table, like, all right, like this is why you need life insurance. And then Danny's over here smoking the hookah. He's like, hey, but what you like to eat though? And I'm like, sushi. And I was like, but yeah, and then you need to buy this.
Bro, how come
nonchalant.
this is my first time ever hearing?
You never heard the
I've
story?
never heard
Bro,
of this.
literally, and then after that, then I was basically trying to sell him life insurance the whole time, and then they had a thing in the hallway where the pull-up bar, and then like as I'm talking to Danny and like Yinkong, and they're trying to during that time they're like talking to each other, trying to figure out who I'm gonna go to. Who they're trying to match me up with.
Oh,
I'm not even
my
fucking
gosh,
kidding you.
shut
and
up.
so apparently they were trying to match me up with some other brother, but then it didn't work out. And then somebody's in the hallway like doing pull-ups as I'm trying to give my presentation. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And then I was like, all right, I think I'm done. I was like, I'm gonna go. And then Danny's like, all right, well, how about tomorrow? I'll pick you up for sushi. And I was like, okay, here's my
The
phone
rest
number.
is history.
I was like, all right, here's my phone number. And then I give him my phone number, and the rest is history. I came over the very next day, got it in, and then we've been inseparable ever since.
Shut the. I don't know why I've never heard of this like main actual story of y'all like meeting.
The trap house.
I don't know why I've never heard of it.
Bro, literally, we would have parties every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Wait, we're
And then Sunday would be our cleaning up days.
At the duplex.
Wait, was this in Owasso?
Tulsa.
Dang girl.
And I actually brought over Nancy, Emma Hoa, and Jamie and all them.
That's how
And
they
so
got
that's how they all got in
Oh my
touch
god, bro!
with.
I remember now.
Because I was like, hey, girls, y'all want to come chill at this house?
She was the one bringing the other girls to the trap
I
house.
sure was.
Okay, little pimp.
They're
Yeah.
like, all of them are married today. Thank you.
And they're like, yeah, you got any girls for my boys? And this Hannah's like, yeah.
I remember whenever you and Danny had first started dating, you took me to, I think it was
it was his house.
that the house?
Yes, the duplex. Yes, because I have
It
pictures of us
was?
there.
I
Yeah.
took pictures of us. I remember because you're like, we're having a little hangout.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I was like, so I mean, and I didn't really hang out with her a lot anymore after that. But then because you were already gone too. But then she took me in a random day, and I was like, oh, okay. And then like, yeah, I think that was the place because they were all like drinking, and everybody was young. Nancy was there too, and everything. And I was like, what is this? But it was fun because we were kids, and I was like, okay,
Dude, literally, I thought I would never live like that. But I was literally like in my like gangster era. I'm like, yeah, I was like, yeah, I got girls.
She was
y'all
the
need
plug.
girls.
She was the plug.
Y'all need girls. I'll call them right now. My girls.
Oh my You God. literally
And
just
all
set
of
them
them
up
are all married now.
Thank you. Okay, matchmaker.
Yep, I'm a hood matchmaker. Ended up working out. But that's like my experience with love. Like I never had to go. I mean, like I have like talked to guys in the past, like on online and stuff. But like that was my like.
Because of meeting through person and actually connecting and okay, I love that though because that's kind of like almost like the original vintage way, if you will,
of meeting.
She said vintage. Oh Lord.
I don't know, not just put that word, but that's kind of like like how they did it back then. You know, like just like Valerie said,
meeting in person, then going on dates.
And going on dates.
Talking about online and love, did you guys ever, when you guys were younger, ever talk to guys that were older through like Asian Town or like MySpace?
Well,
I
when I
never
was
did.
back
or
in
like
the Asian Town,
Avenue or Asian Town.
Asian Town era. I mean, I was just telling you. Did I talk to you about this the other day? Or I was telling.
Were you a punk era like
yes,
punk
I was.
emo girl?
I had the haircut and everything, and I had like the wristbands and everything with the spikes and everything. My auntie and I were obsessed with that shit. But then in Asian Town era, we were literally kids, like what, maybe 10, 11, 12, right? I was just talking about this with him the other day. Back then a few weeks ago, whenever I was in California, that we were literally
Kids.
groomed.
Yeah, because Sutiana used to talk to like a 30-year-old Chinese guy that lived in Canada.
But did you know he was 30?
Yes, they video chatted too.
Oh Lord, that's a different story. We didn't. I didn't know. I said that I was groomed because they were like you could tell they were older men, but they were telling us that they were younger and stuff.
But we had no business being on the internet.
We didn't.
Hell no.
We didn't.
I literally, Sadie, I literally was MSN Messenger era.
I love MSN.
And AOL era, talking to these old men. I was probably like 10.
Oh, I remember it was like a 30-something-year-old
was a
Chinese
30
guy living in Canada.
Right.
Your parents didn't know about it?
They were not.
They didn't really.
They were like doing
their own thing.
But I literally could have gotten like what's it called? Trafficked.
Abducted and trafficked. Literally.
Because I was like, baby, what are you doing? Literally. He lived in Vancouver and yeah.
Dude, and he knew you was a kid.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bro, we were like little kids on the computer, like, ooh, who's that?
The most I ever did was MSN and just chatting with people. And most of the time, me being a kid, I didn't even know what these dudes looked like. I don't even know if they were dudes. I just thought it was the idea of knowing that I was chatting with somebody else and having a connection. So that was like an everyday thing for me. Like
Just being on there chatting.
Chatting and all that.
online. You guys remember Asian Town?
Member of the day.
Oh my God, I literally
Member of the day.
member of the day, like and then you had to didn't you have to like pay
Get
coins
to vote. Yeah.
to get on member of the day, or you could put whatever on there and it'll like scroll. Anyways, I was such a huge fan of Roy Yang 89.
He was the it boy for
Was he
Asian
really?
That was
Town,
before we moved down here. I was literally like, oh my
Oh,
God,
I
like,
didn't know
because he
that.
was good with like HTML and stuff, and I'm like, dude, like he's fucking
His
popular.
profile was cool.
I know. I was like, bro, that's so cool if I was to meet him. And then we literally like, met night
here.
two, and
Oklahoma?
like, that's why I always tell Roy, I'm like, bro, I was literally like your biggest fangirl. Like, I wanted to be like you and learn how to do the coding stuff and all that shit. But yeah, that was like definitely
That was
a funny era.
That's so crazy. Everything comes full circle though, because then we moved to Oklahoma. We met
And you
night two,
actually met
and then
them.
we met him.
Yes, I was like,
you know?
what the fuck? That's so
That's so
random.
crazy with you because all of the people I've encountered online through Asian Town, I think I've only met one, and that was like a long time ago back in J4 when Jenny came with us randomly, and I met up with this kid. Weird, ugly story, but yeah. But so that was the only time I've actually met someone through an online platform. But that's crazy how now we know Roy. He's like the homie.
Yeah.
It's freaking hilarious.
I know, girls. That's why I'm like, oh God. I was like, those are the most cringiest moments.
Cringe.
And I'm
but
like,
man, it's a story to tell, all right? I tell you
God.
what. Dating back then when we were kids, I would consider
It's like,
myself like dating someone like
yeah,
that. But
I
but like
know.
you said, never meeting them online, never meeting them in person. Or if I do, then they live like maybe like 30 minutes away, and we would see each other at like big events like New Year's and stuff like that.
I don't. As a kid, I only remember like one or two like little kiddish relationships, but that's it.
Ew.
And so to
Tatiana had a lot.
But you know what's just crazy because. That is so crazy because remember when we first started talking about online dating and you were cringing so bad, but then the funny thing is because back then you had done it all.
That's why, yes.
That's probably why. As a
Yeah,
kid,
I was like, I don't know. My parents should have had limits on the internet for us, but Jesus. Ugh.
Oh, Lord.
I literally was like that type of girl that was like updating my MSN like every hour and like my status so that people. I'm like, oh God.
You should not have had access to the internet. We shouldn't have
as
kids. Yeah.
How about what's that one where the OGs always where the OGs dated Hmong Talk?
I
I don't know what that is.
You don't know?
I know
Hmong
there was a Hmong something.
It was a Hmong chatting thing. It's called Hmong Talk. Or so if you are a listener and you know what this is, let us know. It was like that was their version of like Tinder.
pretty much back then. Yeah,
It was Hmong Talk. No, it was basically just a group. It was like basically you put in your screen name and you go in there and you chatted with people.
Wait, is that the one where they had like the little animated
No,
characters?
I know what you're talking about though, because that was my favorite one too.
Yeah, it is. It is Hmong.
Dude, that's a core memory.
Yes.
I don't remember it
I think it is. You know,
it is Hmong Talk.
I think it is because I remember some
Or
people.
Hmong Pride.
Hmong Pride.
It is Hmong Pride. Oh, so there's two different ones. Hmong Pride is the one with the animated
cartoon characters.
Hmong Talk is for the OGs. Oh. So that was the OGs version of
Tinder.
Hmong.
Pretty much.
Hmong Pride.
Hmong Pride, bro.
Hmong Pride.
If you remember this,
if you know
drop
Hmong
your
Pride.
name. Drop your name.
What was your at?
I don't remember mine, but I think.
But it's one of those where you could change it every time.
Especially the little animated characters. They were
So then it's like people who were always known for a specific screen name, they would keep that screen name every time they logged in.
You know why I remember that was a specific Hmong one? Because there was a guy on there called Sacktown something. So ghetto. And I saw 559 something. I'm like, dude, that's.
Or people will put like what their interest is in the big group chat, and then you could put like ASL or.
And the crazy thing is, there's a huge group chat
But
where
then you can
anybody can.
Anybody could put anything, but then you can also do a private message. So if you saw something that was like that caught your eye,
I cannot.
You can fucking.
But isn't that crazy? Okay, so connecting with the casual
Dating world
nowadays,
these days, it's kind of the same.
It's the same, but the
is
difference
similar.
is because back then on those websites,
It was
especially
limited,
Hmong Pride,
I feel like.
and you have no idea what they look like. You have no.
Yes.
You can only judge them from talking, like chatting. With Tinder and Hinge and all that, there's a whole profile, right? You can speak on that. What do you? Have
Yeah,
all
there's a whole
available?
profile. You have to upload your phone number, your
You have to?
photos.
Phone number?
Yeah, your phone number is attached to your. So I don't know
Oh,
why,
shit.
but my Tinder account, like I can't make a Tinder with my phone number because I'm like banned from it. I don't know why.
Why are you banned?
I honestly don't know why. So like. Yeah, but like you have to upload your phone number to like not for everybody else to see, but just to validate that you're a real person.
What's the one where you have to put? I see people put audio messages.
Hinge.
It's so,
I like that. I like that because I feel like it's more personalized and you can kind of know them a little bit more.
Like they can be funny.
Yeah,
Like, some
I
people
love,
do
and you
funny
can
ones.
see how they sound like
Yeah.
and all that stuff.
I do.
so.
That's why I was telling Mallory that I like that Hinge thing because I mean clearly I've never
That's
been
so
on it.
personal though.
Yeah,
That is
it is.
funny.
That's
I
why
love
I
because
like that.
it's lighthearted and you can add a little humor and like
Personality.
you said, personality.
and that's why
I've
it's
seen
more fun to just be like, like it's just fun to scroll. But,
Right.
But yeah, circling back to back then and now, I feel like it's kind of the same still, like online
In a way.
dating and all that stuff. But I just
Yeah.
feel like nowadays there's much more options. and
Yes.
Options and
much
access.
more access, and I feel like you can know a person more versus back then it's just like literally just
and like this day and age is very niche because if you are like they have like Christian Mingle, they have
Yes,
they have the
there's
farmers,
everything.
you know,
There's a farmer one?
for farmers.
there's like
Yes.
Asian meats only, like just
Yes.
There's
Asian.
Or they have one
the
for black meats. Yes,
That's actually how Sydney and her boyfriend met.
Shut the fuck up.
They actually
I
met.
love that.
So cute.
They actually met on a Black Christian app.
Christian Mingle.
Yeah.
How freaking
I love
cute.
that.
Yeah.
So like you said, it's more like
Whatever
almost
niche.
you're into. You know, you can be very specific. And
Yes,
like,
or just general.
I like that.
Yeah.
How cool is that? I think that's very cool. Like I mean, technology is crazy and cool, but dating wise like that
Has evolved.
has evolved.
It
Oh
really
my God.
does, yeah.
Like it's just crazy.
The internet is only evolving.
Let me just quickly ask you this before we wrap it up, Valerie. I know that you said that you just do it for fun, but would you ever consider like
a real relationship.
and like depending on who you meet, I
Off of
guess?
Hinge?
yeah, or off of any dating sites.
I don't know. I think just because like my internally my thoughts on dating app already is like I'm really not gonna meet the love of my
I was
life
gonna
on
say
here.
that.
You
I
know,
was
like
gonna say
just
what's
fuck
your
around.
I was gonna say what's your initial thought
like,
already? Like
that's already my. I think that's just like my bias on dating apps already is that like nobody meets the love of their life on a dating app or like on online dating.
But what if one guy out there changes that?
I don't know. Then
because
he does.
right? Because I was thinking that
Ooh.
I'm like, I know you view these dating apps and
As, like,
online stuff,
taboo-ish,
like as a
yeah.
taboo, and maybe like you said, you don't take it as serious already. You already have that the thought
Preconceived,
yeah,
yeah.
preconceived. So whenever you get into it, maybe that's why you don't want to. But some people, they get on it because they want to find
The love of their
love of their
life.
life, you know. So like,
know.
I mean, I guess it really depends, like how you view it, how you judge it, and how like what the people that you do meet online, how it where it goes from there. You know, whether you want to take it serious or not. So
All I know is that I'm not taking anything serious right now, and I am just living. You know,
I love that for you.
Valentine's Day is coming up, so I hope you take this episode with a light heart. I mean,
Light
whatever
heart,
we
yeah.
might say, I mean, you know, whether you agree, you don't agree, what
Let us
comments,
know.
what comments you want to add on to this, please let us know.
And if you guys are listening and you're in the local Tulsa area, please check your DMs, because if you are one of our very awesome people who listen to us, we are hosting a special
Small
secret
RSVP invite only.
Valentine's party, and we've already sent out DMs, so make sure you guys check your messages and respond.
Yes.
We're gonna have music, we're gonna have food.
It'll be a good time.
It's gonna be such an awesome time, and you know, we're really trying to be intentional. Again, the word intentional.
Yes.
And really just want to give back to our listeners and supporters, especially here in the local Tulsa area, because because of you guys, we are able to do what we love on the side and keep doing it.
Yes.
And this year is gonna be a big year for us, and it's already going so well.
Yeah, it
that
really has been.
you guys, 116 hotline, we are doing the damn thing.
We're doing it.
Putting ourselves on the map. baby.
Exactly. So we want to give back to you guys and have an opportunity to spend time with you guys and just connect on one-on-one. So make sure you check your DMs, and I hope you guys have a great Valentine's.
Yes.
Yes.
And don't forget to love yourself. Self-love is the most highest form of love. I feel
you.
like we
Love
talked
that.
with this episode, we talked about relationship and friendship, love a lot, but most importantly, self-love, I think
It
is
starts from within.
It starts from within.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
thank you guys so much for tuning in.
As always, we upload a new episode every Monday at 7 p.m.
now.
Central Standard Time. You can follow us at 116 Hotline on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Anchor. And let us know in the comments if you like this episode, what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it. Please comment, like, share, and subscribe. And also, don't forget, you can rate our podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. That really helps get our podcast out to people just like you who enjoy podcasts similar to this, or just podcasts that really make you feel safe to have these open, fun conversations.
And we really, truly appreciate any type of resharing, liking,
Feedback.
feedback,
Yes.
you know, constructive criticism. Like, we're really open to anything, and I feel like that's the only way to really grow.
Absolutely.
So we really appreciate all of you guys' input.
And I wanted to add one more thing. If you guys are interested in sponsoring our podcast, I know that a couple of viewers were DMing us about that. If you are still interested in sponsoring us, you are more than welcome to send us a DM anytime.
Yes.
And we can work with you on that, whether it be a monetary sponsorship, or if you wanted to sponsor a location just like Archive did here for us today. We are open to anything. Just send us a DM or send us an email, 116hotline@gmail.com, and we will get back to you guys.
Thank you guys, and see you in our next episode.
Bye.